Welcome to Straight Up Bible Study, where we try to find out what the Bible says and not what religion says it says. So let's go straight to it. Isaiah 65:17. For behold, I create new heavens and a new earth, and the former shall not be remembered or come into mind. So the world we live on now won't be remembered, won't come into mind. That it's kind of scary and depressing if you think about it too much. But I guess the plain reading of this text is that the people who are born and live in the next world will not recall this one because they don't have the experience of living in it, and they don't have a reason to recall it because they weren't here. I mean, that's the plain, simple reading of the text. But it may also be that everyone living in the new world just won't recall this one. I kind of have a hard time believing that interpretation of it, because surely there would be something that would make us remember it. Like this year, I have this pack of Post-it notes that I bought. They were on sale, and I thought, I'm going to need Post-it notes. So it's like a 27 pack, and they're all wrapped up in clear plastic. So one day when I was cleaning up a little bit, I set this stack of Post-it notes on the windowsill. And I got to doing stuff on the computer later, and I had a ton of tabs open, and there was no way I was going to get everything done that night. So I did something I usually don't do. I set my computer to sleep instead of just shutting it down. Well, I've got this USB hub that changes colors. It's green and blue and red and stuff and purple. So when I went to bed, that thing was still glowing on my desk, and during the day it's not bright, but at night, it was way too bright to have showing. So I went over and I moved it to where I couldn't see it that well, and then I went back to bed. Well, I looked across the room, and I could see the stack of Post-it notes, but I didn't know they were Post-it notes. I thought, man, there's somebody outside with a flashlight. What? But then it didn't move, and I'm thinking, what is that glow over in the windowsill? I'd forgotten I'd put the Post-it notes there. And it was the glow of this USB hub just reflecting very softly off of these Post-it notes. So I closed my eyes a little bit, tried to let them adjust, and tried to figure out what in the world I was looking at. And as the colors of the USB hub changed, I guess it was maybe the green color reflected off the yellow Post-it notes, and it reminded me of something I had not thought of in 30 years. When I was little, I lived in this house where the bed was next to this window, and the moonlight would shine down through the curtains onto the bed and into the whole windowsill, and it would just light up the windowsill. And I moved out of that house a long time ago. But just that one little thing triggered that memory of being in that bed and having that moonlight shine down on me. And that's kind of how a memory works, at least associative memory. You see something that you can associate with that forememory, it brings back that memory. So the people in the new world will not have any associations with this one, so they won't recall it. And that's the obvious interpretation of that text. But I have a hard time believing that it applies to resurrected Christians, because surely there would be something that would trigger some kind of memory of this world. Just something, just the shape of a house or the shape of something. Or maybe a smell that might trigger something. You know how smells are really evocative. They really evoke memories. So I've been thinking about this verse a lot, and thinking about whether we would remember things and how much we remember, and if we would even have a reason to remember. The new world may be so different than this one, and we simply won't have a reason to recall it. And you don't think about bad things. You like to recall good things. So we may not, this world will probably be so bad compared to the new world that we just wouldn't want to think about it. But I got to thinking, what about the people in hell? I bet they'll remember this world, even if we don't. Because this would be so much better than where they are, that they would want to remember it. They would want to remember the beautiful sunsets they saw, or the feeling of the sand between their toes as they walked on the beach, or the flowers, or the sound of little children laughing, when they play and stuff. They would want to remember it. And I got to thinking, it might be that if people in hell remember this world, that the good things they've done may alleviate their suffering in some way. And more importantly, the good things we do for them might alleviate their suffering. So in the Torah it says, love your neighbor as yourself, and that's such an awesome verse that it got quoted again in the New Testament, and Christianity ran with it, and it's really one of the most famous verses in the Torah. So the thought I had, and this is kind of the point, is that it's really important to love your neighbor as yourself, not just for the nice people, but for the people who will end up in hell. Because every time you show kindness to them and you're patient with them, just think forward to, they're in hell, they're burning in hell, and the memory of that time when they were shown kindness and love and warmth, that may be, how can I put this? That just that memory of when they were valued and shown some kind of worth, that may be something that could alleviate their suffering in hell. So, that's I find that to be incentive to be a little more patient, a little nicer, just a little bit. It's just a step back when somebody tries to irritate me, and some people just love to bother you. So I got a person like that in my life who just sometimes, I think, just tries to torment me on purpose. So I try, and this person is a Christian, so yeah, I don't be nice to this person because they'll end up in hell. But maybe I shouldn't have mentioned that. Anyway, but the point is, the people that do tend to torment you are usually the bad people. So this person just happens to be a good person, so I guess it's whoops. Try not to think about that. Anyway, but just try to, I think we should try to be a little more patient, a little kinder, a little nicer, because it may be all these people have when they're in hell. That little memory of being valued and being shown worth, that little bit of love may alleviate their suffering in some small way when they're burning in hell forever. So I know that's kind of a strange way to look at that, but maybe it would help. Maybe that could just be an encouragement to be a little nicer, a little more patient, a little kinder with people who don't deserve it, because it may be all they have later. So if you like this video, click like. If you didn't like it, click dislike. If you want to hear more maybe unusual things out of the Bible, or maybe unusual speculation, click subscribe. And God bless you, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video.